Thank you. Thank you, Wilson, for being my guest today. I want to introduce you to the audience, and thanks again for the opportunity. Wilson Mengole is a multimedia journalist with the state media of Cameroon. He has covered the atrocities of Boko Haram in the north region of Cameroon and transnational organized activities. Wilson is an aspiring master's student in peace, conflict, and security in the University of Buea Cameroon. He also covered the African Cup of Nations as a sports commentator, the biggest sporting competition in Africa. He's currently covering he was also covering the Anglophone Crisis in Cameroon, whereby the minority English-speaking population wants to break away from Cameroon due to gross marginalization and overuse of French in English-speaking schools and courts. Previously, Wilson worked as the counter director with the Global Counter Terrorism Institute. Thanks again, Wilson, for the opportunity. And I want to briefly also, you can introduce yourself, and then I want to ask you what you think about the Boko Haram and the terrorist activities in this region. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Begum. You've said it all. You've said everything. I'm Wilson Mengole, a journalist with the state media of Cameroon, who've been covering the activities of Boko Haram insurgency in the north of Cameroon. My beat is terrorism and transnational organized crimes. I've been working on that for the past 6 years, ever since I joined the state media of Cameroon. And of recent, I covered the African Cup of Nations as a sports commentator. That is the biggest competition in Africa. I covered that competition in the English-speaking part of Cameroon. That is, to be precise, the town of Limbe. So, in fact, I'm an aspiring student with the Global Counter Terrorism Institute in the US, where I'll be taking up a master's degree in international security with focus on counter-terrorism. Currently, I've enrolled in the University of Buea Cameroon for a master's in peace and conflict resolution. Basically, that's all I can tell you for now, Ms. Begum.
Thank you again for this kind introduction. So you have been covering terrorist activities in the region for a long time as a journalist. Could you please tell us today about Boko Haram and what kind of terrorist activities does Boko Haram do in current years?
Thank you so very much for that question. The insurgency incursions in the north of Cameroon, that is in Marwa, the far north region of Cameroon, we began in 2013. That's when Cameroon got a pinch of the Boko Haram atrocity. Since then, they've been firing and firing, but as of now, the group is being weakened as the day go by. At first, it would hardly be a day or a week without an attack in places like Amchide in the far north region of the country, places like Limani. These are hotspots of the terrorist sect Boko Haram. But ever since President Paul Biya created a military region, to be precise, the 5th military region in the far north region of the country, they've succeeded in order to tackle the atrocities of Boko Haram in the far north region of the country. What we now have now in that area is just pocket of resistance, and some locals are using the advantage of Boko Haram to carry out havoc in that locality. First of all, when Boko Haram started, or when Boko Haram came, they used Islam in order that they are trying to create a caliphate. But later on, when they started attacking the local population, burning their houses, carrying out cattle roasting, the population could not apprehend again with their ideologies or whatsoever. The population had to turn against them with some organizing vigilante groups to counter their activities. And as the day go by, President Biya created, that was 2 years ago, DDR, that is the Center for Rehabilitation of Ex-Combatants. Some of them have been dropping their weapons. in order to join this DDR Center for Total Rehabilitation. And even some of the Anglophone separatist fighters, they too, they've heeded onto the call and they've dropped their weapons and they are getting into these DDR centers for rehabilitation.
So this kind of activities, the terrorist attacks of Boko Haram, sometimes you say that the locals also support this organization?
Yes, local support this organization. At times they give them cover. When I talk of cover, which means lodging, they house these people. The women cook for them. And since they share a common language, which is at times Fufude or Hausa, they look at them to be like their brothers, whereas the soldiers that are coming from the southern part of the country, some of the times they are looking at them as infidels or whatsoever, which they withhold information, and the military cannot work without information. But as time go by, the mentality, the dynamics have been changing.
I see. Okay, thanks a lot, dear Wilson. So time changes everything, and also time changed Boko Haram. As far as I understand.
Exactly.
Yes. Thanks again for the great interview. I want to thank you so much because it has been a long time that I haven't been doing such interviews. But you are my first guest after this long period of, this long gap between the videos. Thank you again, and I wish you success in your professional life. And thank you. Do you have some
Thank you.
last words for, what can governments, for example, do to end terrorism? Education is important, I think.
Exactly. The government of Cameroon, of Vincent, they've been re-instrumental with the creation of certain institutions and facility in the far north region of the country. First of all, like primary education in Cameroon is basically free. Then even secondary education in public schools, we have the fees is like $20 for secondary education, which is almost free. That's about, let's say, 10 to 15,000 francs CFA. And they've started also providing certain amenities to the local population.
Okay, okay. Thanks for this also information about education. Thank you again, and I'm grateful for this meeting.
Thank
Um,
you so very much.
thank you.